have a look at it. It looks like this kind of looks like one of those weeks where markets are just kind of putting along. They're moving a little bit. We've got a little movement on the euro and a couple of things here and there. Yeah, that can be weird, David. That can definitely be weird for sure. So markets are just kind of putting along, and honestly, I'm not, I'm not super anticipating getting into anything, going into the, holding any positions over the weekend. Maybe, of course, we might. We'll have a pending order set on the euro dollar here shortly, and we might have some of that happening. We'll see how it goes. But I think we might just end the week with, a few more of this, that's, and the others, before the big movement starts. But I'm actually, the euro dollar has been just quiet and eerie for a couple of weeks. We've just been in this little channel, and it's kind of made this break. It's been a nice little move up here, 80, 90, 100 pips. So it's moved a little bit, and that's good. But for the most part, it's just been, for a month now, the euro is just kind of slowly creeping, slowly not really doing too much. But I am probably the most excited about the euro dollar out of any trade. I think it's going to be messy and probably a little bit ugly, and I think things are going to get choppy up in this 13400 to 134.50-ish area. As I said earlier in the chat today, that I think we'll put a pending order above 134.15 because I won't be surprised to see the market kind of get up there and clear some stops out and then give us an opportunity to get in short just above that level. The one thing that is again that I think is so exciting about the euro dollar is that it's summer. We're coming into major resistance. We've got we've kind of expanded or extended the range that the euro has been doing for the last couple of months. For it to just kind of continue up through these levels would be very, very uncommon by much. If it ran up, if it was just carrying on some trend from here, that would be pretty unlikely. Could happen, definitely could happen, but I think it'll be a little bit on the unlikely side. Yes, I think it'll show us some love, Wendy, for sure, and I hope it does, and I think it will. So I'm still looking at this area. I still like it. I still recognize that retail traders are incredibly short euro dollar, and I think that they might actually be right this time. But it still is, as I've said the last several days a couple of times, it's a crowded trade. It's a very crowded trade. There's lots of shorts up here, so I think we might just clear some of those shorts out. Remember, it's been retail traders have been short euro dollar for some days, so there's been shorts all the way up here, and it's never bad. Once everyone starts getting short, to let the market run against all those positions, 100, 150, 200 pips like the euro dollar has done, and then start getting in, kind of in the direction of everybody else, because I think it's time for that big turn. So overall, we'll probably have a pending order on the euro dollar around 134.35, between 134.35 and 134.40. That was kind of tough to say. We'll have a pending order to short this pair. We'll have stops. We're going to have some large stops, so we're going to scale into this trade. We'll have large stops at about 135.00, 135.10, somewhere in that general vicinity. So you'll want to go in smaller than you normally do, about half the lot size, because we're going to be looking at some large stops. But we have some very nice targets here. Not to mention, from current day, or yesterday now almost, we have a missed pivot point that's at that's 65 pips away. We have a missed pivot point from 2 weeks ago on the weekly side of things, which is all the way down here at 131.20. We've talked about that 100 times, and we have some more missed pivots that are down lower. I think Donovan pointed out one that's back here at 130.43. Okay, so here's a nice little missed pivot all the way back here in the middle of July, nearly a month ago. So I think we've got some great opportunities. I mean, this euro dollar is one of those trades where it's going to go, but it's going to be messy. So it's going to be a tough one to hang on to, to hang in. But I think it's going to be a great trade. So I really have nothing more to say about this than we're going to get a pending order, and we're going to hold on to this thing for a week if we have to, and hopefully it won't chop around for too long and go too far against us. But I think it's going to be a great trade. So still looking for that. You can see that we're sitting around 133.80. I think we're going to make a little run higher. We've still got a little bit of room to go. We're kind of getting outside of that ascending wedge. And we're just kind of coming into contact with that double top and all this stuff. So hopefully it breaks that high. Hopefully it gets us in, and we can go for it. And especially after this day right here, we're starting to get into kind of a very short-term exhaustion phase on this euro dollar, and so we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to leave our pending order where I ultimately put it, which will be 134.35, I think is probably what we'll do. And we're going to have some large stops, and we're going to let this thing just play out and see how it goes. So that's the euro dollar. That's right, exactly. We're just going to fish this thing right on in, so should be a good opportunity. Pound dollar is not giving me too much to trade. The only thing that is interesting on the pound dollar to me right now is we have this nice ascending channel. We have this huge bullish engulfing candle right here on the daily chart, major strong candle, and it's coming up into some of this resistance here. It's hit the top of the channel, which was around 155.75. It's pulled back a little bit. I do like opportunities to start getting short against some of these highs, but I'm not ready on the pound dollar yet, and I don't think there's anything too exciting to trade on this one for now. So if you're trading the pound dollar, be very careful. We obviously have a missed pivot from here. We had a nice bull flag that semi played out, but didn't give us too much movement there, so we can kind of continue to adjust our fib level. There was no retracement, it was just sideways movement, and then it continued higher. So our 23% fib now sits at the low here on the pound dollar, and if we get below, if we break this low, which will also once again be the 23% fib, it's already 50 pips away, that could be a good opportunity to get us down into that 38, which is 50 pips, and into that daily pivot. So that's really the only thing. Watch this fib level on the pound dollar. That's about all I will be trading, and that 23% fibs around 154.85 or so. So watch for a move there and a break back down into the 154.20-30 area, even 154.00. I think there'll be a good opportunity on that. So that's the pound dollar. I highly doubt I will do anything on this pair going into the weekend. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I don't think there's anything too exciting to do there. But of course, if there's any questions, if you guys have any questions about any of these pairs, feel free to stop me. Aussie dollar is getting interesting. I'm kind of in the same boat on the Aussie dollar in that I'm not sure what I want to do on this pair. I don't think I want to jump into anything on the Aussie dollar just yet, especially after we have some news coming out today in about 2 hours. That'll be something to keep an eye on. We are coming into resistance. You can see that the Aussie dollar has kind of started to slow down and reverse just a little bit at the 61.8% fib of this move down. And we're coming into the 200 moving average and all of that. But again, I don't think that there's enough opportunity for us to get into this trade just yet. We do have this missed pivot down here, which I think is excellent. And that's going to be something to target. That's now a whole bunch of pips away, about 200 pips away. That missed pivot. So let's continue to watch for opportunities. But again, a double top here could be good with another reversal candle, something like that. But I don't, and I'm not even, it almost feels like I'm getting lazy on a few of these pairs because they're just not giving us, good recognizable setups. The Aussie dollar has actually been moving pretty well the last 2 days. It's rallied up. We've had some big Aussie news and it's caused some movement, but it's just not giving us the kind of setups that I look for. And so there's really nothing more to say, in my opinion, about that, except for we just have to wait till the setups get good and until we can get something that agrees with our trade plan and so on. And the Aussie dollar, it's giving me nothing. So I'll keep an eye on it, and of course I'll have any pending orders that that might set up on that pair, but I just don't see anything on the Aussie dollar that I want to do just yet. The yen pairs are starting to get kind of interesting. They are looking like there might be something coming up. Yep, and that's always a good thing to remember, Mike. Yep, you got to let the trades happen. So absolutely. Yen pairs are looking good for a couple of reasons. the Aussie yen has finally broken out of this channel. It's been in this channel for about 3 weeks now, and the descending trend line here is a very good, interesting looking descending trend line. Nice little rundown. It's tested that several times. It even tested it. This was the Aussie employment numbers, and it came back down and it broke that high. It's looking good. It's also, once again, we had a bit of a choppy run here, and once again it's crossed the 23% fib, which means that we've got a pretty good chance for this to work its way, number one, into this weekly pivot, which it has not yet reached for this week, and it also has a missed pivot for last week. So that pivot point is 300 pips away, not to mention that last week we have missed pivots, 2 missed pivots on the Aussie dollar, or excuse me, on the Aussie yen for last week, including the missed weekly pivot. So I really like this pair as far as an opportunity to get long. And as we talked about, we tried to get long with the cross of this 23% fib, and that didn't go so well because it ended up breaking. And now it's finally, it's back up above that resistance level now, and it's above the descending trend line. So I like this Aussie yen quite a bit, and I think we're going to have some good opportunities. One thing to keep in mind and to keep an eye on is we're going to have a missed pivot here that's going to be nearly 50 pips away. So I'm going to look for this to come down and reach that missed pivot, and I'm kind of liking this 87.25 area. I think there's some good opportunity at 87.25. It's just about where the market bottomed out, and it's just about, and it topped out a little bit right there, and it's been having a really kind of interesting time consolidating around this 87.25 to 87.50. And so I think if we get down to that missed daily pivot, I'm going to be looking for opportunities to get long Aussie yen, right in this general area. Now, we're going to have some big potential stops if we go below the low, so I probably won't do that. I'll probably look at taking an entry on this one, with a reversal candle, and then just putting my stops a little bit beyond that, trying to keep something 20 to 30 pips, in the tight zone there. So that's what I'll be looking at. Good, Wendy. Good to hear. So Aussie yen is getting very interesting. It's getting tradable, and somewhere between 87.25 and 87.50, I would like to get long on this pair and trade it, again, back up towards the weekly pivot. And I think we'll have a good opportunity for that. I'm not going to put a pending order just yet because I want to watch price action. I want to see how this thing plays out over the next several hours, and that'll help us, determine what we're going to do there. But just know, somewhere in this zone is going to be a nice little entry right in that area. Again, about 87.25 to 87.50 is right where I'm going to be looking to get long. I love when we have breakouts of channels and trend lines, because very often these trend lines break and the market comes back and tests those trend lines before continuing in the direction of the breakout. And I anticipate something like that to happen for this Aussie yen. So we'll keep an eye on that. And the only other one that looks interesting to me is the Euro yen, which has done the very same thing. It's broken out of a shorter term channel. The Aussie yen's been in a little bit of a bigger channel for about 3 weeks. Euro yen's been in a little bit of a smaller channel for basically the week. And it's just broken out of there. We've seen some consolidating at the bottom. It's broken out of the channel. It's crossed the 23% fib if we go from the high of Friday to the low of today, and it's not yet reached that 38% fib. We have a missed daily pivot up here as well. Also, I would like to look for some retracement on this one. We're going to have a daily pivot come out around 120. At about 12900, right down in this general region here, and I would like to get long Euro yen around 12900 towards the weekly, towards the missed daily pivot, and up towards the 38 and ultimately 50% fib levels. So I'm going to be looking at that as a potential opportunity as well. So 12900 is looking interesting on Euro yen, and 87.25 to 87.50 is looking good on Aussie yen. Both positions to get long and trade up into missed daily and weekly pivots. So that's what I'm going to be looking for there. And then, of course, we will have a pending order on the euro dollar, so I won't need to say too much more about that because we'll just have the pending order there, ready to rock and roll. But everything looks pretty good. I think we've been patient this week, but we've also come out profitable so far. We've made some good pips this week already, and I think there's more to come. I'm going to get those notes posted in that pending order. Does anybody have any questions whatsoever? Any questions, any comments, anything about anything regarding what we've just covered? Anything?